Okay, our first technique for transferring your reference is using proportional dividers. This tool is used to assist transferring an image to your project while keeping the proportions correct. It can be used to scale your image up or down, or keep it the same size as your reference. For this project, I'm scaling my reference larger than the original. So adjusting the dividers is done by removing this pin in the middle. So I'll show you when the pin's in the middle. Both ends are equal. That means if I would use it on this image here, it would transfer it the same size onto my project. So each notch you go further along from the center will make it bigger and bigger. So for this project, I've just gone along until I found which suits my project, which was the 4th hole. And I've actually used this to work out my paper size if I wanted to make it exact as that one is. So I can actually work out my paper size. So because I'm scaling up, I put the smaller end on my original reference and I turn it and use the bigger end to make it bigger. So you can see here just where I've used it on my paper size. So that's just an example of how to use those. I'll show you how to actually use it on your image. So if I was to want to scale my picture down smaller than the original, I would use the larger end to get my size and transfer it with the smaller end. Okay, now I'll show you how I will actually use these to transfer my image. So usually I just select a few points on my drawing, like usually edges or corners is a good place, so I might make a mark on there and I'll go from the edge whoops, moved it. So I make a vertical line because I'm not sure of the height yet, so and then I go from the top edge to get that. So that's my first point there. I might make another point right there. So it's going to be somewhere along there, so I usually draw a line first because I don't know this distance yet. Do another one to there. And there. Should have had an eraser ready just to remove my other unneeded lines. One point I haven't done yet is that point, so you can use as many points for measuring as you want. Once you get comfortable with the amount of points you have, it's simply connecting the dots to also still looking at your reference photo. Okay, so the second way I like to transfer my reference image to my project is using a program such as Corel Painter X3. Basically, at the opening of my program, I can put my canvas size in. So I will measure my canvas. Whoops. So 50 centimeters by 40 centimeters. So I can type that in here. And I now have my exact canvas size on screen. Then I will actually place my reference image. See, what can we go? This one. I get all my reference images at the moment from wildlifereferencephotos.com. They have a good deal, 5 images for $10. I find that great value. So I could place my image, scale it up to fit on my canvas, or however I want to fit it on my canvas. I don't know, say something like that. I can then get a grid. So I've clicked show grid in my program. I've actually already got this to size. You can actually go into grid options and make the grid whatever size you want. So I make my grid size the same size as my tracing paper. So after that, once you have your grid on there, let me just grab a piece of tracing paper. Obviously, that's not the same size at the moment, but in proportion to the canvas, that square there is the same as my tracing paper. So from there, I just have to work out with my zoom mess around with my zoom until I get it same size as my tracing paper. So that's about right. Of course, I don't have my masking tape ready, but trying to find the end of my masking tape. We all struggle with that one, don't we? So the masking tape on your monitor is not a big deal. It doesn't leave any residue. I've just used your standard medium tack masking tape. So as you can see, that is ready for you to trace your outline. You'd then take that off your monitor and apply it to the same edge you traced it from your monitor. And you'd use some transfer paper or carbon paper underneath there, and off you go. So basically your monitor's acting like a light box. That's a very handy tool, I have learned. So my entire image is now covered in 6 centimeter squares. This image size is the same as my canvas size, as I showed you in the last method. So after that, I've come over to my canvas, and instead of having to mark out a whole grid and erase the entire thing, I've just gone along and marked the very corners, 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters, the whole way along. Then I can bring in my viewfinder. The thing I like about the viewfinder is you can actually concentrate on just what's in that little square instead of getting overwhelmed by the entire image. So I can start up in the corner and trace from my reference image on my computer exactly what I see in each square, just as you would a normal grid technique. You don't have to go off your computer screen. You can do it from a printout as well. I'll just do a little example of what I mean here. So say I want to start on the ear here, so 2 across, 2 down. So come over to my canvas, 2 across, 2 down. So I can line that up with my marks. I can look back at my ear shape. And just copy what I see off the monitor. Maybe if I get my pencil ready might help. And that's pretty much the same as a normal grid technique. It's just the viewfinder lets you concentrate on just that one section at a time, and making the little marks in the corners just saves you all that erasing, but instead of drawing lines all of your project. Another thing I might add is, if you were using this technique of printout, you can certainly scale that as well. So if you made 2 centimeter squares on your printout, you could upscale it to 4 centimeter square, a 4 centimeter viewfinder and 4 centimeter marks on your canvas, for example. So I hope these techniques help you guys. They've definitely helped me out. And yeah, try them out, see what you like best, and go for it. Thanks for watching.